Hi everyone and welcome to this Yin Yoga class. Today we're focusing on front body openers. So we're going to do some Yin poses to open up the shoulders, the chest, the entire belly region and the quad muscles. You don't need any props specifically, but it's always a good idea to have some cushions or yoga blocks nearby if you have them. If you are ready to begin, we're going to start today in Sphinx pose, so you can come down to lie on the front of your body. Now you can prop yourself up on your elbows. Your feet can be whatever distance apart feels comfortable for you. And then we'll take a moment just to measure the distance between our elbows. Once you've found that, you can bring your forearms back to the mat and try to keep your elbows that distance apart. Now, if this feels too intense, you can slide your elbows away from you. We're going to be here for 5 minutes in total. We'll stay in Sphinx for 3 minutes and then there'll be an option to come up into seal pose for the last 2 minutes. So let's take some time just to wiggle and adjust, and then we'll start to settle down into our Sphinx. And take a moment just to loosen up your jaw, soften your facial muscles. You can look straight ahead or you can look diagonally down. Now start to connect to your breath. Not forcing anything, just noticing yourself breathing in and breathing out. And with time you might aim to make your breath a little bit longer, a little bit deeper, a little bit smoother. And if any thoughts are starting to come into your mind, that's completely normal. But we'll just try our best to focus on the breath. Focus on the sensation you're feeling within your body. And just know that whatever you're thinking about, you can always think about it later. Now, Sphinx pose is a really good pose to open up your heart space and your chest. So for our last minute here in Sphinx, you might really try to bring your awareness to that area. Breathe deeply in so you can fill up your chest and just feel all of the opening as you inhale. And when you exhale, just know that you're getting rid of tension from your body. Now we have an option to come into seal pose for the last 2 minutes. Seal pose is a deeper back bend, but it does help to bring that stretch down into your belly region as well. So if that sounds good, you can bring your hands back next to your chest and then slowly peel your upper body up off of the mat. Now the arms can be straight without locking the elbows. And again, if you want to make this less intense, you can bring your hands further away from you. And it might also feel nice to bring your hands to about mat with distance apart. Fingers are pointing away from the body, so you're really making that seal shape. And this time we can look straight out in front, or to go that bit deeper, you can gaze diagonally up. And once again here, just connect to your breath. Find all of the sensations within your body that seal pose is bringing about. And now when you inhale, not only feeling that expansion through your chest, but also feeling it around the stomach region. Using each inhale to open up the body and each exhale to let something go. Now wherever you are, you can prepare to come slowly back down onto the mat. Let out a big ah here if you have to. And then we'll rest in crocodile pose, stacking the hands on top of each other, bringing the big toes to touch and letting your heels drop out towards the edges of your mat. And then your forehead or a cheek can come to rest on your hands. We'll stay here for 1 minute, just allowing the body to digest Sphinx and seal pose. Now from here you can bring your feet to about hip width distance apart and take a bend into your right knee, and if you can just reach back for your right foot with your right hand. We're just going to very mindfully stretch the quad here, so you can rest your head back down or maybe rest your head into your hand. We're only staying here for about 3 deep breaths. Later we'll be practicing saddle pose, so we're just going to warm up the quads a little bit first. And then when you're ready, you can release your right foot back down, and we'll do the same thing on the left side. And now you can release your left foot. From here, we'll come back up to sit on the mat. Now bringing our focus back up into the chest and the shoulders, we'll be practicing puppy pose or melting heart pose. So you can bring your knees onto the mat. Have your hips directly above the knees. Now in this pose there is a temptation to bring the hips forward or to slide them back. And that's okay if that does happen, but just try your best to keep the hips over the knees. The hands will reach towards the front of the mat, and then the chest and forehead comes down onto the ground. Now you can also place your forehead onto a cushion or a yoga block here. And if needed, your hands can stack on top of each other and you can rest your forehead onto your hands. We're going to stay here for 3 minutes in total. But if you do need to come out of the pose earlier, of course, that is okay. If puppy pose is feeling quite intense, you can bend your elbows and bring your hands back closer to you. And that's especially important if you're feeling any tingling or numbness within your arms. It's a good time to just bring the hands back closer to the body. So once you feel settled in puppy pose, just try your best to commit to the stillness. You might be starting to feel that opening across your chest and within the front of your shoulders. You might also feel that gentle stretching around your stomach. So really try to glue your awareness to these sensations and keep sending your breath into them. And once again, if any thoughts or worries or doubts are starting to come into your mind, just gently close the door on them. Come back to puppy pose and take 3 more big breaths. And when you're ready to do so, you can slide back into child's pose. Just slowly bringing your hips back down to your heels. If they don't make it, you can sit on a cushion or a yoga block. We'll keep our knees as much together as is comfortable here, and then bring the forehead back down to the mat, or it can rest onto your hands. If you're not using your hands, they can come to rest palms up next to the feet. And here we'll just allow our spine to stretch over the legs. We've been doing a lot of back bending, so now it's time for the back to round again. We'll be here for 1 minute, just using each inhale to round your spine and each exhale to let something go. And when you're ready to release child's pose, you can bring your fingertips back to the mat. Use an inhale to slowly bring yourself back up. Now from here, we're coming into saddle pose. So this is a great way to open up through the quads. If you come into the full version of the pose, you'll also be opening up through your torso and your shoulders. So we're going to start by sitting on the mat like so. If you need to sit on a yoga block or a cushion, you can do that. And then we want to bring our feet very mindfully wider than our hips. So eventually we will be able to sit onto the floor or onto that cushion or yoga block. So we'll take a moment here just to settle. Now this might feel quite intense around the ankles. If your ankles are tight, this can be an uncomfortable position for them. So what you can do is sit higher on some more cushions or yoga blocks, or you can have a blanket in underneath your ankles. Now we're going to spend 5 minutes in total in this pose, but as always, if you do need to come out earlier, that is absolutely okay. So we'll start just by settling in here where we are, feeling that opening through the quads. Keep breathing into whatever sensation you're feeling, and keep sending all of your awareness down into the front of your body. Now you might be happy to stay here in this version of the pose, but if you do want to go a little bit deeper, we can start to really mindfully explore. We want to be mindful of our knees, making sure there is no pain or no discomfort in the knees. You can bring your hands back behind you and then slowly start to lean back. We're just taking it one edge at a time. You don't have to go into the full version of this pose straight away or even at all. So let's pause here for a few breaths. And if you do receive an invitation to go deeper, then you might be able to lean back a little bit more, or maybe bring your elbows onto the mat. And then again, if we do feel like we're ready to go to the next edge, you can start to lie down onto your back. Now you can use cushions underneath you here. And now finally to come into the full version of this pose, if that works for you today, you might bring your hands up past your head and come to hold opposite elbows. So we're really creating that opening throughout the entire front of the body. And just like before, if you are feeling tingling or numbness within your hands, having them over your head, you can just bring them back down alongside the body. And wherever you are in this pose, we'll take just 3 more breaths. Each inhale, opening up the front of the body even more. And each exhale, letting go of tension. Now we'll start to come out of the pose. This can take some time, especially if you're lying down, so there's no rush to do so. But you can just come out of the pose the same way that we came in. Eventually propping yourself back to your elbows and then slowly coming back to a straight spine. Now we'll unravel the legs. Again, it can take time. Eventually letting go with a big ah. You might straighten out your legs and just gently rock the feet from side to side, or you can shake your legs. You might take some time to rotate your ankles and just help all of the circulation come back. Now our final yin pose of this practice is banana pose. So you can come down to lie on the back of your body. And when you're there, you can bring your hands up onto your hips, have both of your legs long on the mat, and then step both of your feet into the bottom left corner of the mat. Hips will stay in the center. Lift your shoulders and head and bring them towards the top left corner. So now we've created this banana shape. If you want to go a little bit further, you can reach your arms up past your head, sending them again towards the top left corner. We're going to stay here for 5 minutes. Option to go a little bit deeper is to cross the right foot over the left. And you can take your right wrist into your left hand and very gently pull the arm away from you. And you might be starting to feel this opening all through the right side of your body. Keep breathing in to amplify the stretching and exhaling to get rid of any tension. Take 3 more breaths here into the right side of your body. And we'll start to gradually make our way back into center. And when you're there, you might just take a moment to observe the body, noticing if there's any difference within the two sides. And now we'll repeat banana on the opposite side. So both feet are stepping into the bottom right corner, hips stay centered, and the head and shoulders come into the top right corner. Hands might reach up past the head. You might take your left wrist into your right hand this time. Gently pull the arm away. And to go deeper into the left side of your body, you can cross your left ankle over the right. Now tapping into all of the sensation you're feeling throughout the left side of the body. Breathing deeply into it. as we spend the last few breaths here in banana pose, you might take some time to loosen up your jaw, soften your face, allow the entire body to get a little bit heavier. If any thoughts have entered your mind, just try your best to close the door. Focus on opening up your body for the last few moments here. And take 3 more deep breaths. And now you can make your way back into the center of the mat. And you might be ready to just come into corpse pose, or you might feel the need to release banana pose with some windshield wipers. Or you could bring your knees up to your chest, giving yourself a little hug. And if you're not already in corpse pose, you can come there now, having your legs long, arms open, the entire front body is open. Shoulders are relaxing into the ground, your jaw is loose, your face is soft. And we'll take 2 minutes here in corpse pose, allowing the entire front body to open more and more with each breath. And you can just feel gravity against your body, taking away any tightness or any stress. Now, if you're ready to come out of the pose, you can start to make small movements. There's no rush to do so, but when you are ready, you can come back into a seat. And we will officially end our practice here. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this routine and found it beneficial. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave this video a thumbs up and make sure you are subscribed so we can do more practices like this together in the future. So I'll see you in another video, but until then, take good care and goodbye.